This is Katrin with Disability Rights New York. Welcome to our podcast, Empire State of Rights Closed Captioned. We are here to bring you information on the most relevant topics regarding disability rights and advocacy. As New York State continues to address the coronavirus pandemic, Disability Rights New York will be recording podcasts specifically targeted at bringing you up-to-date information and resources. And we will do our best to get you information as it changes. If there is a topic that you would like us to address, please comment below or email us at podcast@drny.org. Today, we welcome DRNY Pair and PAIMI Director Marc Fliedner to discuss including people with disabilities in the special times offered to seniors for grocery shopping. Hi, Marc. How are you today?
I'm great. Thank you. So glad to be with you on this topic.
Well, thanks for joining us. Let's get right to it. There's a lot of things that are happening, right? There's a lot of changes, whether it's businesses being closed down, but then we have essential businesses, and they're looking to have special hours specifically for seniors so that they're able to go in and shop with less people there. And each market seems to have different hours set only for seniors. And there's no mandate around this currently, right?
That's correct. These are voluntary steps that have been taken by the business owners to acknowledge that they want to create a safe space for the seniors to come and get their essentials.
And obviously, it's a good idea. We're trying to limit people's interactions. We're having social distancing. Now in the markets, you see the dots on the floor, and they're letting you know what types of items you can't buy in bulk anymore. Most people are wearing masks, and as of 8 o'clock on April 17th, everyone will be wearing a mask. Let's talk about why that is so important to include people with disabilities in this overall scheme to have a safe space for people in the markets.
Yeah, well, the business owners adopted it, I think, as a logical extension of all the information that was being provided by experts about how to protect ourselves, including the social distancing, and who's particularly vulnerable, not only to exposure, but to suffering really significant and sometimes deadly consequences if they do contract the virus. And the first folks mentioned were elderly folks for a variety of reasons. Also mentioned by some of the experts, but not currently included in the senior hours approach, are folks with disabilities who are uniquely vulnerable because of issues related to their specific disabilities, whether it be an immunity issue in terms of the way their body responds to issues, or a particular propensity to be able to be vulnerable, or whether it's because they have something that impacts on their respiratory or their lung health. And for that reason, as soon as the senior hours came into effect, we started getting calls from folks saying, I love that my mom can go during senior hours, but I have a disability too. And I really am concerned. I feel unsafe if I'm going to expose myself in the way that she was trying to avoid exposing herself. So why aren't the senior hours broadened to include people with disabilities? Fair question, meets the same objective that the business owners originally had in mind. And so we're now sort of embarking on an appeal to those business owners that have been thoughtful about it to expand senior hours to include people with disabilities.
You know, it's interesting. I talked to a manager at a local market here in upstate New York, and they talked about following the guidelines from the CDC and what they're saying is a vulnerable population. And it occurred to me that when we talk about people with disabilities, there are many people who have invisible disabilities, right? Like you don't necessarily know that they have a disability. And how would those markets really be able to track who is supposed to be using these hours?
Yeah, that issue has come up. Of course, it comes up also in the context of senior citizens, right? And the way that businesses traditionally have dealt with the senior citizen role, at least as I understand it since COVID-19, is that they take people on their at face value. And I don't think that businesses feel that they really need to do this searching interrogation, if you will, of folks who say that they have a disability. There really isn't any downside. We don't think the numbers will be necessarily as significant as the seniors that are coming, but it just seems like the right thing to do. So much as we don't interrogate folks who need a service animal about exactly what training those service animals got or anything like that, we're hoping that people simply accept the premise that people say, I'm a person with a disability. I need to take advantage of this. Thank you for giving me this opportunity and let me enter your store.
And it really seems like, given the fact that markets have elected to do this independently on their own, they've done the senior hours. I think it would be great for us to ask them, here in the podcast, do the call to action. What are we asking them to do? How can we really have a great policy when it comes to having people with disabilities share in the senior hour?
Yeah, and our answer is simply that we're creating a sort of an open letter and an open invitation for them to do that. It's really just a matter of changing their signage and their advertising, if they're including that in advertising, and then, of course, training their staff to accommodate this new expansion. It's as simple as that, but I think the benefits are always so great, because when businesses say, this is our community, we've been in partnership for all these years, we are really concerned about their safety. And in whatever day they send that message, the entire community responds, and they acknowledge that that business is special. That business is somebody that is entitled to have their business for the long haul, and is doing a particularly good job of keeping us safe when we need it most.
And that's so true. We talk about advertising, and we talk about the businesses that will not only survive through the pandemic, but will be remembered on the other side of it for including their community and being truly inclusive to their community. They'll be the ones who will be remembered for that. There's really no downside to any of these markets doing this. They would get a really great response from us. They would get a really great response from the people in the community.
I'm with you 100%. That's the way we see it. And we also, to be clear, that, disability rights, usually in your podcast, you're talking about legal issues. What are people legally obligated to do? This is something that goes to another part of what we do, which is our obligation to have outreach and to respond to the feedback that we get from our folks. And the education piece, educating the community, including in this case, the business community, about a need that they just might not have initially acknowledged. And overwhelmingly find when we educate folks, they say, I get it, I'm in. And that's what we're hoping we can accomplish here.
I think the education piece is so crucial. Like you said, we are normally talking about some complex legal issues and what's happening, whether it's with a case or where we're going in terms of the law. And when we get to talk about outreach and our community and the education we're doing, it really brings home the message of where DRNY is and how we're here to help the people in our community. So I think it'd be great if we could put out a call to action right now to all of our local supermarkets and grocery stores and have them let us know how they are including people with disabilities as part of their response. We would be happy to share their information on our podcast, on our social media, on our website, and give you a big shout out.
And in addition, I would say we'll invite you to get back to us with any concerns or questions you have about how to implement it. There are some of us that are focused on the issue. You'll call our number. They'll be connected to us, and we'll take it from there. We'd be more than happy to assist.
That's great, Mark. And we will have all of our contact information at the end of this podcast. But let's hear from you. We'd like to get this done for our community. Thank you so much, Mark.
Thank you, Katrin.
Empire State of Rights Closed Captioned has been brought to you by Disability Rights New York, your source for disability rights and advocacy. If you enjoyed our program, make sure to subscribe, like, and share this post. If there is a subject you would like us to discuss, please email podcast@drny.org or comment below. Tune in next time where we'll bring you more information on disability rights in the state of New York. The closed caption version of this podcast is available on our YouTube channel. To listen to more Empire State of Rights Closed Captioned, follow us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify.